Welcome back. I am not starting this video very excited. A while back, I've been doing this for 8 years now, and a while back I made the decision to just focus on films, that I like, that I want to see. A lot of this is about, horror movies that suit my taste. I'm not going to spend my time watching movies that I don't like, which is why, horror, it usually ticks all the boxes for me. But today, you can see the title. I'm putting myself through something, and it is good I'm going in with the lowest of low expectations, but I'm still scared. Today, we're going to go see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And I'm about to watch all of my childhood dreams fall apart. This film is directed by Reese Frake Waterfield, who's done Firenado. You know what? It is right now on IMDb. This is sitting at a 4.7, and my friend Amira, who went and saw this, said it was basically unwatchable. So I think that's actually a pretty good score. The film, obviously things have changed recently, and Winnie the Pooh, the character Winnie the Pooh, has now entered public domain in the US, which is why Winnie the Pooh can turn into what you see here. Pure chaos. Insanity. The blurb says, after Christopher Robin abandons them for college, Pooh and Piglet embark on a bloody rampage as they search for a source of new food. The film was shot in just 10 days, and strangely enough, just as it was being announced for release, basically before it even hit cinemas, which has been out for a couple of weeks in sporadic limited cinemas, they announced the second one. So tonight I'm gonna put myself through the ringer, let you know if it's worth any of your time. Like a snippet, a blink. I don't normally do videos that are really negative. I don't like to do that. Some people say in my comment section, I watch them so you don't have to, and this is a peak example of that. So let's go watch Winnie the Pooh at the cinema. Oh my gosh, my friend Rob, by the way, last minute, one of my friends who I met through my Patreon, Rob, said he'll come with me, so we're gonna suffer through it together, which is really nice of him. Let's go watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I'm already regretting it. Let's go. Is that normal? It looks like it's just filling up like a drink. Oh! Why does that look so good? Friends. Sometimes there comes a movie that leaves me speechless. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. This is something you're not expecting. Wasn't as bad as I anticipated. This movie is bad, don't get me wrong. It's bad, it's cheesy, and it kind of knows it. It even extends pauses in comical, awkward moments. And I want to believe it's a little bit self-aware. I have to believe it's self-aware. But this movie was... it was trash. It was bad. But I think because I had the opportunity to go see this at the cinema, and I could not believe when the movie, when the trailer started, people just kept coming in. And this was a 9:30 show. It's nearly 11:30 at night. It's a Thursday night. And so many people came to this session. It was packed. I could not believe it. And I thought that was fantastic. And it really helped because I feel like at that time of night, this is a cinema in a suburb. It's like a purposeful journey to get here. It's like its own complex. It's not, you know, connected to any shopping center or anything like that. And I think knowing that, the people who showed up are the people who enjoy this kind of like horror movie and this kind of atmosphere, and we were all cackling during the whole thing. Yeah, it was a ride. So the movie is less about, look, they're deranged, and it's less about them searching for food, which is kind of what they were angling at in the whole blurb. I felt like they were talking about how Christopher Robin left them and they had to fend for themselves. They get a taste for blood or whatever. I didn't get that vibe at all. And I'm not saying, like, the film had plot holes. You were going to accept that and you were always going to move on from that. But it's a little bit foggy what the fucking intention was. Because these Pooh Bear and Winnie the Pooh and Piglet are just like sadists. Like, they're just out there to torture and hurt, and like when I say torture, like whip people, like like torturous acts, chaining people up. It's a lot, and it felt cultish, like borderline cultish. And there was at one point this music that came in that was this kind of Latin chanting, and it just never went too far with what was happening with that, but it was confusing for so many reasons. But the motives, I just don't get the motives. But in a movie titled Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, what do you expect? You know what I mean? I do have a couple of actual things to say about this movie. So it is about them. They were left, and it's about them interacting with a group of people afterwards. A woman who's gone through a traumatic event goes out to the woods with her, a couple of her friends, her girlfriends, to get away from things. That, of course, they find Pooh out there, and you know, chaos ensues. But the movie started off in a pretty good path. I was pretty impressed with the setup. They had this whole illustration that starts the movie off, and it's really fun and cute and kind of creepy, and I really liked that feeling. The cinematic shots, like they have wide shots, they have drones to set up the woods where they live, and even the really over-the-top set design. They have like the honey pot and like this whole area where, you know, is their camp out where like Pooh and Piglet live, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. And it's actually quite like, it does look over the top. It looks like a theme park, but I thought it looked really cool. And I thought like the set design and everything was like pretty awesome. The things that let it down were the strange dialogue and strange acting, especially in the opening scene. It was just bizarre, over the top. These kinds of films are set up in a way where they don't have a lot of time to get it off the ground, which is the 10 days we were talking about as well. So I think that what I can gather is it's a lot of like ad-lib, non-scripted, just seeing what kind of goes in the moment and what feels right for that scene, because there was a lot of repetitive lines. It just didn't seem like a script was written at all, and the characters are just like overreacting or underreacting to each other, and or the actors I should say, and they just were not selling it for me. I feel like they were doing worse than the whole Pooh in the mask, and Pooh and Piglet's appearance, pretty deranged, but they were very deranged, so it kind of fit. I don't know, it was just weird. But the thing that also really let me down about this film was really something that I felt like could have been avoided, and that was the overuse of special effects, or I wouldn't even call it special effects, they were like copy and paste effects, you know, obviously just graphics put on the top of blood. So this film does get very bloody. There is some nudity, which is totally, it just shouldn't be there. Some just like forced nudity in there that just is so out of place, but I guess makes sense for this kind of like slasher. I do enjoy like just watching a film full of fun kills, and this film does have that, but unfortunately it's full of this over the top fake blood, overlaid effect of a blood, you know, trickling down or spurting out, instead of just using practical effects, instead of just using like a pump bag full of blood, and sometimes it's so simple, like it's just a dripping, and so I just felt like that was it was just a waste. I just don't understand that choice for going with copying and pasting blood on top, like dripping down, instead of just using fake blood. It needed more fake blood. That's just my opinion in that. The cinematography, as I said, it just wasn't that bad. Like, I thought it was fine. It looked pretty good. And for the budget, I didn't expect anything more, and I kind of expected something less. So I felt like the foundations were there for something that would have been mediocre. Not great ever, but something was there. There was a lot of plot holes. And then, of course, the kills were slightly ruined, unfortunately, by the fake blood, the fake blood. But it had something that was fun and silly and fun to watch with a crowd, and I think that's the only way you can really digest this film. So if you have a group of friends that you like watching bad horror movies with, I would recommend this for that. Like, this is that kind of film. It's needed for that, and it's actually pretty watchable in that regard, because I was expecting something completely nonsensical, but it kind of has a storyline, has characters that kind of start some places and don't finish, but that's totally fine. And it's just fun to watch the reactions. It's like a bad movie that's fun with a crowd. It's only an hour and 24 minutes. I would say it does feel a little bit too long at that. I could have gone with about 10 minutes shorter, which is probably saying a lot, but you know what? I had a fun experience just watching this tonight, and I'm glad that, having this channel forced me to go out and do this because I probably wouldn't have any other way. And I'm actually so glad that my friend Rob came, because otherwise, it's a little bit of a wild movie to see by yourself. I watch a lot of movies by myself, but this would have taken the cake. Anyway, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. What do we think? I think it gets a 4 out of 10. It's not a great movie. It's a bad movie, but if you love bad movies that are silly and over the top, and have awkwardness, this would be a film to put on your to-watch list with a bunch of friends. Don't watch this alone, please don't. The scare, probably like a 6 out of 10 for the gore, nudity. It is pretty intense, but it's also very fake. I don't know how to explain that other than that. And for originality, maybe like a 2. They took something that was an original idea or a concept, Winnie the Pooh, and they just tried to figure out how to turn that into a horror movie. And the plot didn't even make any sense. They made it so that they were like starving out there, but then what they were doing to humans were just torturing them, not like eating them, which would make a lot more sense. Anyway, that whole thing just doesn't make any sense. And a lot of what was going on is just, nonsensical chaos. But sometimes we like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and liked watching me squirm and struggle through this, because I definitely did. Let me know if you're going to check out Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your scores. I want to know down below. Do you think it was worth your time? I think that everyone who hasn't seen it and who's watching this would love to read a comment about whether you thought it was worth your time. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back with a more useful video than this. I swear, next week. And I'll see you then. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye, friends.